Welcome back. I'm excited again because I just kept going with this stuff and it just keeps coming out. Radius, if we take the radius of 5280, we actually get the kilometres here. So that's feet, we've got 528 feet to a mile. We take that as this radius and we get the circumference of these kilometres here. Isn't that amazing? Then we take the radius of the miles here at 2062 miles. That's the equivalent of this in kilometres. And we take it as the radius. We get the circumference of half precession, or E. That's a nice number we know in the harmonic series, 129660. And then last night, I thought, oh, okay, let's how many feet is that? We'll times the miles by the feet, and that's how many feet there are from the King's Chamber to the equator. Divide it by 144, because 144, there was how many casing stones on the Great Pyramid. It's also a lot to do with metrology, as we've found. 144 is also the flower of life. You can count up all the flower of life pieces, and it's 144. There's a lot of reasons for why 144, but it's also in the column of D. That's how we actually found, or after we saw Howard, I took the column of D, and I just got to the middle, and it was 576 hertz in the very centre. Gave us this in meters, so this is the kilometers. So yeah, the column of D got us here, and then we take this, we get E, which is miles. So I took this 12960 that we got from the radius here of the kilometers, King's Chamber to the equator, and we took that and we divided it into the kilometers, and we get 256, which is C, which is what we were saying again in that last video. When we take a radius of 256, we get a circumference of 1609. So this is the kilometres, miles, metric, music and a circle, all working together to give us and connect and link all these missing links that we've been missing for all these years. But then again last night, some more exciting things. Remember, we got the D column and we got the 576 by 576 equals that in metres, the kilometres, 3000, right? 576 by 576 is this. And then we take this, now we've got miles as well, like this metric and imperial. I wanted to see how many feet there were from the King's Chamber to the equator, so I took the miles, times it by the feet, and got this. Well, then I divided it by 144, because it's the amount of casing stones there were on the Great Pyramid, 144,000. There's a lot of stuff in metrology we find with 144. Obviously, it's the column of D again, it's still in the D column of music. And yeah, there's a lot of reasons for 144, but I was just curious and having a look at things. So I divided this by 144, and we get 756, which is the one side of the Great Pyramid is 756 feet. So what we've done, we've got miles, King's Chamber to the equator. You can see the greatest teaching method on Earth being given to us, taking the centre of Earth, the equator. Giza's placed it perfectly. Now, if we changed it by 1 mile, it was 2603 miles or 04 or 060. This wouldn't work out at all. This would not be as perfect as this is. That's one side of the Great Pyramid. We've just taken the miles from the Great Pyramid to the equator. We've times it by the feet, so we can get how many feet that is. We divide it by 144 because, of course, we've got this D column, which has given us the kilometres, really, and metres. Many reasons, and look at what we get. I mean, the answer speaks for itself. But we're not done. So what we do, we take 360, we divide it into the feet, King's Chamber to the equator, divided by 360. And we get our famous little number, 3024. Unbelievable, incredible. They put that place, that Giza, the pyramid plateau, the complex there, deliberately, very precisely. There's a lot of stuff about speed of light, for the latitude and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But as far as my research has found with Ken Wheeler and others, there is no speed of light. Light doesn't travel. I think there was a Veritism video as well with electricity and stuff. They're showing this, that light doesn't have a speed. It doesn't travel. So once we had that 360, we divided into the feet, which is the 1088736 feet. You don't have to remember these numbers. But when we divide the 360 into it, and we came back to 3024, our favourite little perimeter of the Great Pyramid. Because we're on the quest of the mile and the metric system, so the imperial and metric systems, and the linkages between them. For those who haven't seen the other ones, I'll just quickly recap here. We've taken a little bit of leftover from 2 pi and turned it into a real number, basically. Turned it into, for scale, we took it to 1,000, but you can go 1 or 10, and it's just a smaller scale, but the numbers are the same. So we take the little bit here at the end, we turn it into 2,854, put 1,000 at the bottom because we know 1,000 is the mile. Mile means 1,000. We get the hypotenuse of 3024, and we get all these values for the triangle. We found out that the perimeter and circumradius times together equals the equatorial diameter of Earth in miles, 7,923 miles. And the in radius, I didn't discover till last night, is 414.938. When we plug that into a circle, we get the furlong. 1 furlong is 660 feet, or 7,920 inches, which is obviously the diameter of the Earth, the equatorial diameter in miles. So that's the furlong. And if we take the radius of, 66, then the circumference is the in radius of that triangle that we showed earlier, that has all the different dimensions for the Great Pyramid and the Earth size. And another way to look at it is 256 hertz, or c. We take that as a radius, and we get the circumference of 1609, which we know is how many kilometres to a mile, 1.609. And then we take e, the 1260. Now we got that where from? We took the radius of miles from the equator to the King's Chamber, which is 2,062, and we draw a circle with that, we get 12,960. That's where we got it from. So we times these together, the c and the e, and we get this in meters. So it's that's the kilometers. So we've got miles here, 2,062. Draw a circle of this, and we showed it the other way before. We divided by the 12,960, and we came out with 256. So as you can see, it's all talking to each other. It's coming back and circling back on itself. That's it's a beautiful system.